Alright guys, so I'm going to be reviewing the Chrysler K today. I'm just going to be looking at the basics here. So 5.94 rounds a minute, 1200 horsepower, 198 base pen, 260 prem pen. Wow, that's crazy. 0.36 accuracy, 1.9 aim time, 254 turret, 24 degrees per second, 380 view range, which isn't that bad honestly. You could probably get that up to about 440. You could probably hit the 445 mark if you ran food and everything. You could probably get pretty close. Or actually you could hit it if you wanted to. So for supplies, I'd actually, as you can see, I'm really tight on silver because I actually played these for a while and lost put equipment on tanks once I'm broke. But personally, I would run a setup more like this. So like, you can run like, this carries a lot of rounds. So you could probably run 60, 30, 10 and be happy with that. So that's what I would do. Personally, I would run automatic fire extinguisher because that's something that I like to do. I love my automatic fire extinguishers. For equipment, I would run large caliber rammer, V-stabs, and either optics. If you're trying to like really go for silver and 3 mark and such, go for optics. If you're just trying to like go for DPM only and only DPM, then vents. That being said, I don't necessarily recommend that. Personally, I would run optics. So I'm actually going to look at the armor in a different way. I'm going to use Tanks GG for that. I'll give you a lot more in-depth analysis. So anyways, 35 kilometers an hour top speed, 14 reverse, which is nice. As you can see, the accuracy during the moving and rotation isn't that bad, to be honest with you. It could be a lot worse. 6 degrees of good impression has more than Russian mediums. Bias. Anyways, just a little joke in there. So, that's nice. Terrain resistance, that's where this thing is a little, it's nice, actually. You can go pretty quick up hills, which is fun. And then the shell velocities here. So we got 945, 1181, and 945. So 1181 is pretty good. That means if you're trying to, like, shoot long range, personally, I would switch to APCR. Not only because you get 260 S over 198, so there's no point in the game where you can shoot someone and have it drop below 198, but that extra velocity is nice, almost over 200 meters per second increase, which is really nice when you're trying to shoot a light tank across the map. So, yeah, that being said, that's just some of the base stats of this tank. It allows you to be kind of mobile. I mean, the tank itself isn't mobile, but in most situations, you'll be hitting that 35 mark. Unless you're going up a hill, then obviously you'll be slower, but the 1200 horsepower is really nice. So with that, let's look at the armor and then hop into the gameplay. Hey guys, so after we look at the game and some of the stats of the tank here, we're just going to look at the armor really quick. So, as you can see, this is against an ISU 152. The reason I picked an ISU is because it's a tier 8 TD, 286mm penetration, 750 alpha damage, and it's really going to be a good indicator of how this will fare against premium rounds of most tier 8s. Most tier 8 heavies have around 260 to 280 premium penetration, so hence why I picked this, because for standard round it's 286, so, that kind of is a good indicator. So, this is going to really rely on either hold down or side scraping tactics. As you can see, until about this angle, you're going to auto bounce this whole side. So you're going to rely on side scraping, point your gun right here and try to bounce. The upper plate is thicker than the lower plate. The upper plate is effectively, well, due to angling, it's actually effective like 280, and the lower plate's effectively 200, give or take. But the lower plate is actually thicker than the upper plate. So angle is a huge factor there. If they start to shoot down into you, this is going to be like super easy pen. Like, look, if someone was like this above you, let's say shooting down into you, they could really pen you with like a Panther 2 gun, or even the T29 with the 90 mil could reliably pen this, probably 75% of the time. So really, you want to either rely on side scraping or hold down tactics. Kind of like most, a lot of heavies. Like, think of it like, as weird as it's going to sound, I'm going to think of it like an IS-3. You don't need a reverse side scrape in it, but you need to because it's rear mounted, so you're just basically side scraping and only hold down this. You don't want to go out with your front and brawl people, because once people start to learn the weak spots of this tank, it's going to be a big problem. So with that, let's get to the gameplay. This is the first game I have ever played in this tank, ever. Never touched it before. Just, having a good time with it. No equipment on it. So, we're just chilling right here in a party. for any of you that ask, I'm going to mute this guy, not because of any personal reasons, because there's an echo. But anyways, I digress, it's not important. So, first game I ever played this tank, I was severely impressed. I'm going to say right now, this game is a good highlight of what this tank can do against, when you don't have already to deal with RTDs. Because realistically, the whole armor and the upper plate, we're going to look at, as we saw, can be penetrated by TDs pretty easily if they're shooting gold. So you want to play this tank in a side scraping or hold down manner only, but I didn't really have to worry about that this game. And I don't want to only capitalize or show games like monster games, because I feel like that's not a good representation of how the tank is. So I'm just going to show you like your average tier 8 game when you're playing a tier 8 Prem, you get top tier, and you're just chilling, you're playing. And, this tank has actually, I'm surprised it has the gun depression it has for being a regimented turret tank. I've never actually played one on Xbox, I've only played the 416 on PC. So, but as you can see, I'm just going to go here, do the regimented turret. I'm just going to kind of be hold down, or only see they can only actually see my upper plate, which at that angle is going to be really hard to pen. They can't hit my turret, so that again is awesome. I'm just going to keep this T32 tracked. If I had, rammer on and I had food, this would be a lot easier to keep perma-tracked. I'm just going to be able to shoot him and put a lot of work in. So, with a fully trained crew, if you're running food, you could probably get the reload down to about 8.3, 8.4 seconds, give or take. That's just rough estimation in my head. This thing could be a really good monster, especially top tier. It's very powerful as is, and it would only get more powerful in the hands of a good player. Now, this tank is not overpowered, and it does have a very unique playstyle. You can't just go YOLO out and get damage. It doesn't work like that. When I was playing this, I was stress testing it on other games, and basically, if you start to get shot on the side, as you just saw, it doesn't work. You get punished for it. So it's a very unique style of play. It's like a Tiger with a good, it's like a Tiger 2, but with a better hull and good turret. So you can't expose your sides that much. You have to rely on auto bounce angles, and you have your good accuracy 0.35. You got that, or 0.36, that 2-second aim time, or it might be 1.9, which is, it's absolutely beautiful. It's a good 105. The 320 Alpha. It's like a T32, but the turret isn't as good as a T32, but the platform itself, in my opinion, is just as good, if not better. In a lot of roles, and certain roles, the T32, obviously, with its gun impression and turret, is monstrous compared to this tank. It's just situational, of course. As you can see, these tier 8s do not know where to pen me, and I'm able to just put in work. And that really is what you want. If you're trying to play a premium tank where you can kind of relax and play, and you don't have to try hard at all, and you can still play decently, this is honestly a good tank to choose. Something like the Scorpion G, or like a Patriot. You have to try to get high damage games in the Patriot. You can't just, you can't casually play and do well, at least in my opinion. So, this is a really good tank for a casual player who just wants to sit back, maybe crack open a cold one with the brewskis, Mountain Dew, of course. This is a good tank for that. It's a good, well-rounded tank. Its biggest downfall, honestly, is a map like Proc, where your camo values aren't great. So, that being said, if you like to play a tank that can really brawl well, this is honestly the tank for you. As you can see, 400,000 silver with the ×2, 5,000 XP with the daily double, 4,400 damage, 600 block, 673 assisted, most damage on the team, 14 shots fired, 14 hits, 14 pens. That's actually really nice. So that being said, guys, that shows what this tank can do, and thanks for watching that. I hope to see you in the next one.